What is going on, guys? My name is Phamily Shucks and welcome back to another episode of Clash of Clans. Today I'm going to be showing you guys video number 2 of our video series Plan and Produce. And if you guys don't already know, the basic concept of this video series is to show you guys my Town Hall 10 attacks in Clan Wars and show you guys my plan, how I decide to approach it, and my thoughts on the base, and then afterwards showing you guys the replay on how I decide to execute that plan. So, some of you guys might be wondering what app I am using. I'm not using Sketch, but I am using Sketchbook Express, which can be found in the iOS App Store. I'm not quite sure if it's found in the Google App Store, so I'm sorry. But anyways, let's just jump right into this base. So as you guys can tell right off the bat, this guy does not really have the best base. He has a mixture of level 7 walls, level 9 walls, and level 8 walls. And everything except for his Inferno Towers, Expos, and Wizard Towers are not maxed. So it is a slightly weaker base, but nonetheless it is still a Town Hall 10, which I'm pretty happy about. So let us point out the Tesla placements. So we had one on the outside right there, one in the core, and two on the outside. So this was a pretty open base. He had a lot of weird funneling on the corners, which could be beneficial if you're attacking this base with Go Wipe, but for an air attack it was pretty weak against this. So I am attacking this base with a Shatter LaLoon. And I think the majority of this video series will be Shatter LaLoon because I didn't really familiarize myself yet with hogs or which hog strategies or hybrids such like that. So maybe later on down the road I'll start familiarizing myself with those attack strategies. But for now, for the beginning, it's just going to mainly be Shatter LaLoon. So I'm going to be attacking this base with a Shatter LaLoon. My composition is pretty much identical to the last episode, so as a reminder, that is 3 Hounds, 1 in the Clan Castle, 20 Loons, 4 Wizards, 2 Golems, and 2 Minions. So I'm going to be placing my Golems on this left-hand side because I want to take out the Arch Queen. Now, the reason I'm not attacking the flat side right here is because I have to go through a ton more defenses for my Golems to go through, and also I risk maybe having my Golems loop around, which I don't really want. And I want to make sure that my hybrid strategy goes smoothly and I take out the queen and also anything else in my way. But with this hybrid, I'll tell you forward that I'm not able to take out the multi-target Inferno, which I luckily or fortunately expected, so I brought 2 frees with this army. So the spell combination for this composition was 2 freeze, 2 rage, 1 jump, and 1 poison. Like I said, pretty identical to the last episode. So I'm going to be placing both of my golems on here. Now, oh, that is a weird arrow. Both golems in there, and they're going to funnel towards the mortar. Now, the reason I didn't place them on the outside like I told you guys is because it's really unneeded. As you guys can tell, once I place my golems on the mortar, both of those arch towers are going to be attracted, and there's enough space between the arch towers and the cannons, so when I create my funnel, my wizards don't get killed by the outside cannons. So for the funnel, there was quite a bit of stuff on the outside, so I had to just really focus on right here. So I placed 2 golems, or 2 wizards on each side. This wizard up here managed to take out this Dark Spell Factory, and then everything else inside of it. And right when the funnel was created, I decided to place down my Arch Queen to help take out anything else inside this little compartment, because this little compartment right here is where I want things to go down, and also right here where all the commotion happens. So once my Archer Queen starts working its way into this area, that is when I decide to place my jump spell. Let's make it more pink so you guys can see it. So I decided to place my jump spell right here. Now that is the reason why I didn't decide to bring wall breakers, is because it's really unneeded. I can access 2 compartments at the same time with just a simple jump spell. So right when this gold mine was about to go down, that is when I decided to place my my Barbarian King. Stagger his placement, like I always said, is a key thing, especially with if you're using Go-Ho or any kind of 3-star attack, is to always stagger your Barbarian King unless it requires otherwise. Now, the reason I placed him just as the gold mine was going down is because I still want to maintain that attraction towards that area. I don't want to risk him going off to the side because this gold mine isn't there, and because of the new hero AI, I just want to be sure. So I just want to make sure that he goes in the right direction, and by that time my golems have already made its way into the second layer. So that is when I placed down my poison spell. And I placed it obviously a little sooner when the Clan Castle was activated, but I placed my poison spell right there. Now, a little pet peeve of mine, or a little thing that I've noticed when I see people use poison spells, is that they kind of use it like a lightning spell. They use it right when the clan castle is all grouped up nicely, right next to their golems, and then they place it. And in my opinion, that's not really how the poison spell is supposed to be used. It's supposed to be used in a way where you anticipate the clan castle movement and place it there before they get there so that they walk into it and they sit in there for a long ass time. And the reason they do this is or the reason I think this is because it utilizes the poison spell to the best of its abilities. You're sitting the clan castle in for a long time before it gets to your troops. So I see in replays people place the poison spell just as the clan castle reaches their troops, starts already hitting their golems, and then they decide to place the poison spell. And by that time, you already lost a golem, or you already lost a P.E.K.K.A, or you already lost a hero. And that's just not really beneficial, especially for your attack, because you're losing your thing. You're basically losing a troop before you even attack and before the clan castle goes down. So just keep in mind that you're supposed to place, or in my opinion, my tip for this, for the poison spell, is to place the poison spell where you anticipate the clan castle to be moving. So place it there, have the clan castle move in just enough time, and just sit in there. So just anticipate where they're going to sit in there for the whole entire time, not just place it there and then the clan castle just like moves right past it like it's just like no problem, because that is a huge waste, because a poison spell takes some time in order to kill the enemy troops. So that is my little rant on poison spell usage. So hopefully that might help you in your clan war attacks. But nonetheless, place the poison spell and basically everything goes down that I want it to, except for the Inferno Tower. So with white, I will be labeling the defenses that managed to go down, and I'll circle the whole area which got basically demolished by my hybrid strategy. So the arch towers go down, air defense, wizard tower, cannon, sweeper, expo, and the arch queen. Now this guy had ground skellies for which was pretty fortunate for me, so that way I didn't really have to worry about air skellies, unlike the previous episode. But with this, I was pretty happy with the amount of defenses I took out, because the reason I was really happy with this is because the defenses that I managed to take out were air targeting defenses, which was pretty happy for me. So with this hybrid, let us circle this. I'm not quite sure if I took out this gold mine. I think I did, yeah. So with this hybrid, I managed to take out that, which all looks like a vagina in bio class, but nonetheless, let's just carry on. So my hound deployment, I'll be using, let us use purple, just like the last time. Yeah, purple. Make it more reddish. So that's not where I wanted to place it. But I'm going to be using my hounds in pink and red for my loons, just like the previous episode. And I didn't mention this before, but I'm going to be working in a counterclockwise motion. Now, hold up. I don't think I mentioned, did I mention this? I mentioned this. I definitely mentioned this, but either way, if I don't remember, I'm going to repeat it again. Before anything on the playing field happened, I had to take care of this Tesla. Now, I placed a loon and a wizard right behind it, and the loon drop, or the damage of the loon drop, helped a lot, and the power of the wizard helped take out the Tesla no problem, without using a lot of troops. So the reason I took out this Tesla before anything happened, if this is repetitive, I'm sorry, but you just might have to listen to this again. So if I left that Tesla there as I was working in a counterclockwise motion, and I placed 3 loons right here, a couple loons right there, they would all group up towards this one Tesla and move as a single pack. And I do not want that to happen, especially in front of a wizard tower, and I cannot count on my hounds on tanking for my loons as they make their way. And plus, it's not really beneficial, because then you have a bunch of these other defenses attacking your one group of loons. So you want to be able to cover as much surface area at the same time with a certain amount of loons that you place. So by eliminating this Tesla, it prevents for my loons grouping up and basically helps me take out a majority of the bases, or a majority of the defenses at the same time. So that is my little talk on that little Tesla right there. So in terms of the hound deployment, I placed one hound right here for obvious reasons, because I don't know if you guys can see this, but this let's use, what color can we use? Let's use green again because there's a lot of reddish colors. If you guys don't know, this portion right here is still alive. So I'm not really focused on the other parts, but this little penis-shaped thing is really still alive. So there's obviously there's Tesla, there's the multi-target Inferno, and also the air defense and the wizard tower, and that's all still alive. So I have to focus on taking that out. So with that, I placed one hound down right in front of the air defense so that it has an obvious path into the core, followed up with about 4-ish loons. And right when I got there, I decided to use a rage. Let's use. So many uncolors that I can't use. I decided to use a yellow for rage, like right-ish here, followed up with a freeze. So there's a lot of circles going on, but the yellow right here is the rage, and then there's the freeze right here. And that is for obvious reasons, because once again, this is a very high value freeze. There's 3 crucial defenses that can kill my loons, and actually 4 crucial defenses that can kill my loons inside that freeze area. So that was very beneficial for me, especially since I had the rage moving into this core. And then I basically made my way counterclockwise across the space. A couple loons right there. There wasn't any Teslas right there, so I placed, I think I placed like 3 loons right here, so that way they could group up into a mass inside the core. Now, following on this side, I placed 1 hound right here, and then I placed a couple loons in the back to take out these 3 defenses. And that, I said before, is for obvious reasons, to take out as much defenses at the same time. And then I placed another hound right here. Now the reason I didn't place, I kind of wanted to talk about this before, and the reason I didn't want to place my second hound at this angle right here, because I always said that you should always place the second hound on the first air defense, because that is just personal preference for me, and for most cases it does work. But for this, it's kind of weird because I decided to place it on the second air defense due to this single target Inferno. Now this single target Inferno is really deadly, like I said, against very high hit point troops. Hounds, golems, P.E.K.K.A.s, heroes, anything with a lot of hit points, it will Shrek it. But if I was to place my second hound on this, my first hound would already be dead because of the amount of damage it took on the first entry. But because it's working its way to the next closest air defense, it would be right across here. So it is technically traveling across the path of the single target Inferno, which makes it available or very vulnerable to be targeted by the single target Inferno. And I want to be able to preserve my hounds as long as possible, especially when I come down the home stretch towards this last part of the base. So that is the reason why I decided to place my second hound on this side right here in order to avoid the pathing in front of the single target Inferno, because I don't want it to die, basically. I want to preserve the health as long as possible. Plus, it was pretty beneficial because the way I was pathing my loons was this way, so the hounds moving in one pack with the loons and moving in front is pretty good for me. So that is just one little insight of what I was thinking about during that time. But I placed the second hound right there, followed up by a couple loons, and by that time, since it was my first attack for a 3-star, like I said in the beginning, I didn't really save a lot of loons for the back end. Instead, I don't think I saved anything. I saved like 1 loon, but I decided to waste it on this arch tower, even though it did nothing. So as my loons were approaching this final area, I placed a rage spell right about here. Actually, what did I use last time? I used a yellow for the rage spell. So I placed a rage spell right about here, and the reason being is because I want to accelerate past this part into the wizard tower as fast as possible. Now, as a reminder, I still have my second freeze. So once my last hound sat on this air defense and it was becoming a little bit weak, just like the last episode, just as it was becoming weak, I decided to freeze this whole area. Now this is another high value freeze. So as you guys can tell, the whole vibe of this is that I'm really exploiting the high value freezes. Now that is not the case with every other base, because some bases are obviously made differently for Clan Wars, and obviously you don't see the same bases in Clan Wars. But try and utilize the high value freezes and exploit the base, especially if you're going for a 3-star. So once I froze that, my loons were able to make their way into this area, And from there, it was basically game over. There was not a lot of air targeting defenses. The only thing left was this Tesla on the backhand and also this arch tower. But once my loons moved past this area right here, it just started pathing out of the range of the arch tower and then moved back. So by that time, there was just really nothing left to take out that amount of loons in that short amount of time. And from there, that is just basic cleanup. So I think this one was probably the messiest from the last one, because there's just a ton of circles in just one small area. But hopefully that plan made a little bit of sense, and I'll just draw the little one line right here to show you guys that I did place one loon right there, which you will see in the replay. But that is my plan for this base. Managed to get a 3-star, which I was pretty happy about. And without further ado, let us jump right into the replay. Okay guys, here we are with our attack, and first things first, like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be taking care of this outside Tessa with one loon and one wizard. Now, before you guys go, oh, this is, how did he find out? This was a second attack, so I did know where most of the, or actually I knew where all of the Tessas were, as well as recognize these skelly traps, what they were set to, etc. So both of my golems went down, starting my hybrid attack, placing down my Arch Queen in order to help out the rest of the buildings, taking them out. And in order to keep that attraction to the area that I wanted to, I placed the Barbarian King down so that way he goes in the direction that I really wanted to because of the new hero AI. So the poison spell went down as well as the jump. My Barbarian King is working his way into this area, taking on the Arch Queen. And like I said, the poison spell is pretty important because you want to have the Clan Castle troops sit in that area as long as possible. So my Arch Queen is working on that final expo, or that first expo that she's managed to taking out. Sadly, no go with the multi-targeted Inferno, but I would be able to probably take it out if I still had any juice left. The Hounds are going down as well as the Loons. As you guys noticed in the first deployment, I placed down the Rage spell as well as the Freeze in order to accelerate my Loons and Hounds into that area as fast as possible and try and take out that multi-targeted Inferno. And now I'm just basically working my way on the final last-hand side. Tons of pups being popped by the single targeted Inferno, and my Loons are just making their way there. So once the Hound is becoming red health, that is when I decide to place my free spell in order so that it doesn't kill any more of my Hounds, because I need that tanking as my Loons, especially in a big pack, is making its way towards the Wizard Tower. Now luckily, somehow that air defense went down with just a Loon drop, so the death of the Loon actually killed the air defense, so that was pretty beneficial for me. And as my Loons are making their way into the final right-hand corner, you could already tell that it's game over from here because there's only 2 air targeting defenses left, the Tesla and the Arch Tower, and they just cannot take and cannot handle the amount of Loons left on this playing field. So once that Arch Tower goes down, it's just basically cleanup from here. Very simple cleanup. Got tons of pups alive due to the Hounds popping because of the single targeted Inferno, and I do have a couple minions left over saved in case some pups do not reach some certain areas. But that is it for today, so thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.